The roar. I had a several months long affair and that I ended a few months ago. My husband was devastated when he found out. He has threatened divorce and we are going through marriage counseling. We are getting along okay at home, but we are not intimate at the moment, not surprisingly. I try to be as transparent as I can about my actions, but I have hurt him in many ways over the past year. I deeply regret cheating on him and would take it back if I could. He's a great husband and an even greater man for sticking with me after what I've done. Nobody needs to remind me that I've behaved like a worthless bee. I know that full well. What I am seeking are some tips on how to gain his trust again. My AP was my guy. I am a recovering prescription woman. My husband has never met him. My husband found out almost exactly a year ago when we were at his family's house for Christmas. He had been suspicious and while I was napping, decided to read my electronic journal on my iPad, which confirmed his suspicions. He told his entire family and mine immediately. I have not spoken with his family since. I never brought AP to my home. I never did anything with my AP that I never did with my husband. I did disparage H to AP. I was living the perfect life with the perfect husband. Husband and I had been married for 10 years and we had built a beautiful life together. But one day, I made a terrible mistake. I had an affair. When husband found out, he was devastated. He couldn't understand how I could betray him like that, and he didn't know if he could ever trust me again. I knew I had to do something to regain his trust, but I didn't know where to start. I started by being completely honest with him about my actions. I explained why I had made the mistake and apologized for the pain I had caused him. I knew that honesty was the first step in rebuilding our trust. Part of the reason is that I was influenced by my severe active addiction. The biggest reason is that my husband and I had not been intimate for almost a year when my AP suggested that we become physically involved. I was very attracted to my AP physically, and he is definitely the bad boy type. He's a convicted felon and has 5 children with 4 different women and has never been married. He had a live-in girlfriend that eventually found out about our affair also and allegedly broke up with him because of it. My husband cannot be more different than this guy. He is a stable, well-educated and successful engineer. He's a great provider. We are both 40 with no children and we don't plan on having any. I know he feels like crap. Anybody would. I try to show him that I value him by spending time with him when he is home and paying attention to him, complimenting him, etc. He gives me the cold shoulder many times. He has had a tendency even before the affair to shut me out emotionally when he is stressed. He went through a layoff and new job change last year, which was huge for him. He already felt down on himself. And then he had to learn that his wife cheated on him with her lowlife dude. I know. A very sobering picture, no pun intended. I went to rehab in February and am in outpatient treatment. We are Christians who don't believe in divorce. The post-nup is something I'll discuss with him. At this point, I'm a horrible life partner for him. I really want to change that though. I'm not trying to justify what I did, merely stating the facts. I had a physical attraction to this guy. I wasn't expecting him to come on to me. Some of the bonding was described in the journal entries my husband read. My husband very quickly understood the difference between him and my AP, not just physically, but obviously in terms of morality, lifestyle choices, etc. We had been married for 3 years when this first happened. I am a writer and photographer. H and I met online. I have never really dated the bad boy type since being an adult. My AP is someone I would have fancied in high school. So, I definitely regressed to an immature teenage stage in participating in this affair. I'm not trying to find an easy way or to trick him as you have suggested. H and I are actually very compatible as far as personality and lifestyle. I have let him decide if he wants a divorce, but he is determined to reconcile. The bonding, I would say it was his choice. He has clinical depression and the job transition was tough on him. But even before that, he has always been moody and distant at times. Sometimes he can be mean and unpleasant. Last year was an especially long stretch of non-affection due to his stress, however. I do love him and want to stay on the marriage. We were happy before I started buying X and everything just turned to crap. Then I made the worst decision of my life and decided to cheat. I really do love him and enjoy being around him. Both my husband and I are against divorce. I agree that I need to be transformed by the Holy Spirit. It has been tough for me the last decade. I am doing daily readings, but prayer has been a struggle. H and I have not been to church for almost 2 years now. We are pretty isolated. My family lives nearby. H is from another country. Comment: are you more attracted to the dude than your husband? Is the fun time better with the dude? And if so, was it a lot better? Why no bonding for a year with your husband? No kids, no bonding, why stay married? You can be friends without being married and can each find someone you find physically attractive as a spouse. You stay together only because you don't believe in divorce because of your religion. How many times did you go back to the dude after your husband caught you cheating on him? The more pain you inflicted, which is not the worst I've seen but still pretty bad, the longer it will take to earn his trust. Earning trust is a simple thing. It's not complicated. All you do is show yourself in word and deed that you are honest, sincere, genuine, and you love your husband and are committed to him. It will take a long time because he is your safe wallet. If he was a loser, no money, no options, then it would be easier to believe you wanted him. As it is, he might wonder if you stay with him because you live him or just that he is only the best option. Really, the dude, even if you were single, is not a guy you could have a public relationship, where you let your friends, family, colleagues know you are with him. Spending time and complimenting is nice but ineffective. You've figured this out, no. He read your real feelings. He knows you are not sincere. Compliments, talk is cheap. Unless you can somehow figure out how to genuinely start finding him physically attractive, I don't think things will improve much. Words won't cut it. It's how you act that tells the truth. You know this, right? OP responds. We feel like crap about ourselves and our bodies. We both let ourselves go after getting married. Together we have gained about 150 pounds. Very bad. Our bonding life declined considerably after our weight gain. I know our lives would greatly improve if we could lose the weight and get in shape again. He is free to leave. He has not yet. Final update. As I sit here and reflect on my actions, I can't help but feel a deep sense of regret for what I have done to my husband. I know that I have hurt him in ways that I can never fully understand, and for that, I am truly sorry. I wish that I could take back my actions and make things right, but I know that it's too late for that. All I can do now is try to make amends and work towards rebuilding the trust that I have broken. I know that it will be a long and difficult road, but I am determined to do whatever it takes to regain my husband's trust. I am committed to being completely transparent with him and to being there for him whenever he needs me. I am also working on myself, getting help for my addiction and trying to be the best version of myself that I can be. I know that my husband is a great man and that he deserves so much better than what I have given him. I will do everything in my power to make it up to him and to be the wife that he deserves. I will never forget the hurt and pain that I have caused him, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to make it right. My comment: do you think body weight issues with bonding issues had led to this affair? And how long does it take to recover from an affair, or is OP just treating her husband as a plan B? Story 2. Anyway, I am 45 years old and have been married for 12 years. We have 2 boys, ages 9 and 11. Our marriage has been pretty solid, or so I thought, for the most part. We have had some ugly fights over the years. Nothing physical, but nasty words have been exchanged by both of us. My husband is very funny, but many times over the years has made many jokes at my expense. Some of these jokes would be the cause of some of our more heated arguments. This is so difficult to write because there is so much to tell. I think our really big problem started last November. He started getting a bit too friendly, for my comfort zone, with a female co-worker. One night he was out with her and his female boss until 1 a.m. during the week when we both have to get up and go to work in the morning. I probably overreacted a bit to that behavior, but following that was his office Christmas party, where no spouses were included, and he didn't get home from that one until 3 a.m. Again, on a work-school night. I was not very happy about that either. From there, it went to the 3 of them texting a lot and not about work. I just found it all to be annoying and inappropriate. He saw nothing wrong with any of this and just kept on doing it. All of this behavior led me to start feeling insecure in the relationship, which I had never been insecure before. There were also a few business trips in there where he was out until all hours, not answering his phone, etc. We started getting to fight more and more, tried marriage counseling, but it didn't last for more than a few visits. I don't think either of us felt comfortable with her. This past spring, back in April, he told me that he wanted to separate, that he did not want to work on the marriage and that he was out. I was devastated and resorted to all the usual bad behavior of crying, begging, pleading, etc. I finally went to an attorney and had a consultation. He did the same. Then he drafted up a separation agreement himself. He sent it to me and I eventually ended up sending it to my attorney, who rewrote the entire thing. During all of this, we kept going back and forth on working on the marriage. I wanted to work on it especially for the sake of the kids. We tried another counselor and have been seeing him for a while, but it still doesn't feel like we are moving forward. My husband is constantly saying that we aren't getting any better, even though I have tried very hard to give him his space. I don't call him at work or email him unless it's necessary. He does not seem to care if he hears from me or not, or if I am home or not. His demeanor is very cool and aloof. The man does not look at me like he loves me at all. He says he still loves me and cares about me, but we are not good for each other. Anyway, where we are now is still nowhere. He has had the revised separation agreement now for nearly a month. As far as I know, he has done nothing with it. I have not heard from attorney, so I would assume he has not gone to his with it. I have asked him to move out because I am so tired of this roller coaster ride that seems like it will never come to an end. As far as I know, he has done nothing in that area either. I am at a loss to this point as to what to do. I want him to either commit to the relationship and the marriage or end it so that we can both move on with our lives. It feels like he is going to do neither. I have looked into all of the VA laws. You are supposed to live separately for 1 year if you have children, and 6 months if you do not. Back in April, I had moved into the upstairs guest room because we were going to try and stay in the same residence until our lease is up. We do not own. We rent a house. Then, like an idiot, I moved back downstairs over the summer because things seemed to be getting better. However, anytime we have the slightest disagreement or if I get upset and cry, which used to happen a lot, over the situation, he will immediately revert back to the "we are not getting any better" speech. During our MC sessions or one of them, we had to write out our list of bottom lines. One of the most important things on my list was more intimacy, more "I love you" statements, more affection, etc. He flat out refuses to do any of these things and says it just feels forced. So now we sleep in the same bed, but it is like sleeping with a stranger. The only sentiment I ever get is, "Do you want to kiss goodbye in the morning before I leave for work?" and all it is a peck. Last night, I tried to bring up the separation again, which he does not seem to want to talk about at all. He says he is going to have to rewrite it and send it to his attorney. He then asked if I wanted him to move out. I said, "No, I don't want you to move out, but how long is this going to go on?" I asked him if he was happy. He says no. I said neither am I. Nothing further was discussed. So now I am at the point of what do I do now? Move back upstairs. I hate to do that because I feel like our kids are already confused enough about this whole situation. Plus, I don't really like sharing a bathroom with them. They are getting older and I feel like it's strange for them to share a bathroom with their mother. I have done some of the things you said, like open a separate bank account, but I have not rerouted my paycheck. I refuse to leave the house because I am not leaving my children. In the state of VA, that would be considered abandonment, and I can't take them with me. Comment. I can't get past this nonsense about paying lawyers back and forth for months on end to reach and covenant on a separation agreement, which is not legally binding anyway. I don't understand that at all. Typically, the separation agreement, which not every couple comes up with anyway, is done with a marriage counselor or between the couple and is purely an on-your-honor agreement. Why are lawyers involved at all? I don't think he really knows what he wants, or he is just so frustrated and depressed, or just depressed and frustrated as a result, that he doesn't have the effort to do anything about it and isn't even sure if ending the marriage will make him happier or not. I'm guessing it won't make him happier at all. Of course, remaining married to a man who isn't willing to commit to anything at all isn't okay either. So, at this point you really need to just get the process started yourself. I think he needs a wake-up call, and receiving a divorce petition will do the trick. It will force him to take a position one way or the other, either for the divorce or to realize that it isn't what he wants and maybe commit himself to changing direction. Remember that the divorce petition in your state is a very long process, so there will be plenty of time for everyone to calm down and see things rationally and maybe change their minds. Don't put yourselves or your kids through any more back and forth. Just commit yourself to moving on and keep your mind, heart open to him if he or initiative wakes his bottom up and he realizes it isn't what he wants. OP responds, I have to think about my own happiness and that of the boys. This charade has gone on long enough. I think I knew from the onset of all of this that I was going to have to be the one to take charge of the situation. I am going to hate every minute of this, but I have come to the conclusion that I have no other alternatives. Without you being able to commit to truly working on the marriage and all that goes with that, I feel I have no other option but to leave. I am looking into the apartment complex name. They have 3-bedroom apartments coming available mid-September. For a 6-month lease, I am looking at $1,240 per month. It will be less if I commit to a 1-year lease. I am thinking the 6-month lease makes more sense since that will be about the time the house lease will be up, and then we can both decide where we are going at that point. You would need to rewrite the separation agreement with that figure in mind, plus utilities, trash, cable, etc. And of course, the 50-50 custody arrangement. I am so sorry it has come down to this, but at the risk of repeating myself, I see no other alternative. At this point, I agree that separate living arrangements and getting the agreement signed is in both our best interests. The 6-month lease in the greens makes sense to me. As you make those arrangements, I will work on getting the final edits into the settlement agreement, including the costs of the living arrangements. I will work with my lawyer to have this back to you by the end of next week. As we talked about, we both know this will be rough on the kids, but we need to make sure all of this is as easy on them as we can make it. Please let me know your thoughts on what, how, when we should do this. We can discuss all of this more when the boys' little ears aren't around. I did just want to mention that him and I did talk on the phone briefly after these email exchanges and decided it makes more sense for him to take the apartment and for me to stay in the house. We have pets, and A, he doesn't like our pets anyway, and B, I would not be able to bring all 3 of them to the apartment. As far as lawyers and the separation agreement, my understanding is that the separation is legal and that pretty much whatever we agree to as far as child support, alimony, and custody of the kids in the separation agreement will remain when, if we get divorced. Without a legal separation agreement, the state of VA will not consider us separated. It's all so complicated. I am not going to leave the house. We do not own the house anyway. We sold our house 2 years ago because we had a lot of debt and it seemed like a good idea at the time. I just don't know what to do, other than what I have already done, to get him to actually do what he has to do regarding the apartment mentioned above. I gave him all of the contact information and even offered to fill out the application for him. Like I said before, I still think he is going to drag his feet on this. Although, he says he will have the revised separation agreement to me by the end of next week, I will believe it when I see it. I don't think I can serve him with divorce papers in the state of VA. Maybe I can. I would have to look into that, but even if I do, that is no guarantee that he will do anything. I think what will get better for both of us is that eventually we will be happier people apart. I don't think he is ever going to change his mind that we are not good for each other. Remember also that has been going on since last November, coming up on a year. Selfishly and emotionally, I do not know how much longer I can deal with living with a stranger. This is not the man I married. It's a complete stranger. I don't know. My gut feeling is that he is not going to change his mind, but you never know, I guess. He has been checked out of the relationship for a very long time. I am clueless as to why he is sticking around. He blames me for holding on to the separation agreement when in fact, I never received it from my attorney until late July, which was actually the week before we went on vacation with our kids. I didn't want to send him the agreement right before vacation because I had hope. Probably a divorce proceeding. He has no interest in trying to fix the marriage. He thinks it is too broken to fix. He has said that he has been unhappy for a long time. He also said back in April that I should have seen this coming. I am not sure why I am bothering to cling to any hope of a reconciliation. I think a lot of it is that I feel like I am being abandoned, that I wasn't good enough. I don't know. Some days I feel really good and strong. Other days I feel like crap. This is one of those days. My husband, or soon-to-be separated husband, is insisting on this arrangement. We have not told our kids anything yet, ages 9 and 11, although I am sure they suspect. We want to wait to tell them until the separation agreement and the apartment that he is moving into is secured. I am just wondering how well this has worked for others and how the kids do with it. I am feeling like mine are going to hate every minute of it. STBXH made his revisions to the legal separation agreement and sent it to his attorney, I believe, last Friday. Last week I had asked him, not in a mean way, how the agreement was coming along. He responded with, "You will know when I know." I left it at that. On Friday we were hanging out, after the boys' soccer practice and after dinner. If this seems unusual given the circumstances, it isn't. It's what we always do. Anyway, during the course of the evening he made a comment saying, "I thought things were fine until you asked about that separation agreement." What? Granted, he had some drinks. The next day when I tried to talk to him about that statement, he blew it off and would not give me any sort of clarification on what he meant. Sunday, he left on a business trip and returns tomorrow. I had IC on Tuesday and really got to the heart of what I want. Basically, I want both of us to commit 100% to working on the marriage. If not, then one of us needs to go. Am I wrong to take this position? How long does this game continue that we are playing? Acting like a happy family and continuing to confuse our boys. My 11-year-old keeps asking me, how much longer are we going to live here? He wants a real house again. I am feeling horrible telling him over and over that I don't know. Is it false hope to think my husband meant something real when he said the statement about, he thought things were fine until I brought it up? He has been the one pushing for it. Was it wrong for me to ask? I feel like the blame is being put on me, which I feel is unfair. After nearly a year of this roller coaster, is it wrong to want to know where the heck we are going? So, flipping confused. Update. The legal separation agreement is supposed to be done today. Then I guess we go sign it Monday. STBXH found a place to live. Most likely he will be out before the end of the month. At 3 today we go to talk to our counselor about how to tell the boys, and we are planning to have the talk with them later today. I am dreading this beyond belief, telling them and their reactions. Sigh. Prayers needed. The boys took it better than I thought they would. My 9-year-old was choking back tears but held it together. It was horrible. After 2 hours I was crying in the bathroom. STBXH is so cold. Made it all out to be funny and fun. I give him a lot of credit for being able to do this. Worst night of my life. There are no words. A therapist recommended we be honest, tell them how much we love them and emphasize that this is no way their fault. She suggested that we explain how things are going to go as far as the custody split, and that we don't give them false hope for reconciling. It was a tough conversation nonetheless, and as I said, after 2 hours I was emotionally spent. I never wanted this divorce and tried to talk him out of it right up until the moment we talked to them, but his mind is made up. Anyway, please think very carefully about what you are doing. I think once you get to the point where you tell the kids, there is no going back. And just an FYI, neither of our kids brought it up today. I doubt their minds are really wrapped around it. Few days later. So today we signed the papers. I thought I would be falling apart, but I am not. I feel okay with it. It seems odd that I am not that upset, or is this just a moment? I think after months of trying to save our marriage and our family with a STBXH who was not trying at all sort of sealed the deal for me. He moves out in 10 days. I never wanted him to go, but now I feel sort of resigned to it. I still feel okay today, maybe a bit more down than yesterday. STBXH was acting weird the entire evening. Remember, he doesn't move out for 10 more days. He clearly had had a few drinks before he came home last night. He said he thought that we should have gone and had a drink after signing the papers. WTF. He also made a pass at me last night. I am sure it was the alcohol talking. Anyway, I think it will all hit home more once he moves. I am supposed to be taking our boys away somewhere for that weekend, and I am still working out the logistics of that, as all of my family is many hours away. Another evening with him texting me from downstairs and then making up excuses to be in my room. What is this? For months I would have given anything for him to come up here. Now that I don't care, here he is. Guys, chime in here. I don't get it. His behavior is just so odd. However, I guess I need to stop focusing on him and trying to analyze his behavior and focus on myself. I will be glad when next weekend is over. Ready or not, he left last night and spent the night there. All of his clothes and shoes are gone, pretty much everything. It was a tough night, which really wasn't supposed to happen. He was supposed to be out while we were away. That was the entire object of us going away. Today I just feel numb. It's going to be tough getting anything done at work today. We have been legally separated for a month. I have been doing great, not missing him at all. Tonight, he calls. It's my night with the kids, by the way. He wants to bring some stuff by. I say okay. Ends up hanging out for a drink and then dinner. So, like old times. Then he invites me over tomorrow night, his night with the kids, for burgers on the grill. I want to say yes, but I know I can't, and I made plans with a friend. I told him I can't. I have plans. He leaves shortly after, but then texts me all night. I feel like I have been doing so well, and in one night he can suck me back in. I know there is no hope for us. I thought I was done feeling anything, but here I am. I miss the old us. I miss what we used to be. Wish I could say all this to him, but I can't. He won't respect it. He will know I still care, and that does nothing. I don't know for sure if infidelity was a factor. I think he is having an issue with a coworker, but I have no way of knowing for sure. We had many other issues in our marriage. A lot of arguing. He can be very critical of me, which would start a lot of fights. The last year of our marriage was a mess. I wanted to work on the marriage. He had one foot out the door the entire time. He would not commit to 100% working on things, so even though we did MC, we never got anywhere. He has said he thinks we are toxic together and not good for each other. I thought we could have worked it out. I can't hope for R because I don't think he truly wants it. And we are still doing family activities together, which is probably not helping the matter. Yesterday we all went on an amazing hike. He came over for dinner. Next thing you know, I am in tears again, apologizing for being a crappy wife, blah, blah, blah. For some reason, I keep blaming myself for everything. If I had been more supportive, if I didn't get so mad at him criticizing me and putting me down. I don't know what my problem is. He took my hand at one point in the hike to help me over some rocks, and I still felt something when he did it. We also ended up kissing like teenagers before he left. Luckily, I put a stop to that before it ended becoming more, which would have made me feel even worse today. It happened to many times when we had the in-house separation, and I just felt used the next day. It would be great while it was happening, and then back to business the next day. He would be cold and aloof and act like nothing happened between us. I am so tired of feeling like a puddle. I know I am better off not hanging around with him, but when we have a good day like we did yesterday, it makes me miss him all the more. I should want better for myself. I just feel so lost right now and alone. I think my self-esteem and self-worth has been completely demolished by this. I'm thinking I need to start IC as soon as possible. The negative is no longer there, so I have to focus on that and stop feeling sorry for myself. I know that is exactly what I am doing, feeling sorry for myself. It's not going to accomplish anything. My comment, my mother-in-law always says to me, stop feeling sorry for yourself. You are a survivor, not a victim. I try. Sometimes though, after all the pain, no one can help but feel sorry for themselves. I would say don't beat yourself up so much over how you feel. Go to IC, try to focus on the positive and give it some time, it will get easier.